Podcast is intended for mature audiences. The views and opinions expressed are those of the panelists and do not reflect in any way those of the podcast partners, sponsors, or affiliates. Enjoy.
Hi, this is Michael Buffer, and you're listening to the Voice of the People. Let's get ready for Boxing Voice.
Every day I'm hustling, 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 hustling. Every day I'm hustling, every day I'm hustling, every day I'm hustling.
Stay hungry, stay humble.
BoxingVoice.com.
I'm humble in defeat, and I'm gonna remain humble in victory. This is it, right?
Dazn Productions.
I just wanted to put on a great boxing masterclass and also show the sweet science of this lovely sport. Man, the first time was so nice, I had to do it twice.
I'm prepared to the best of my capability, and I pray that I get the win. Look at it, like, I love Mike Tyson, how he came into the game on some different kind of vibe. You know what I mean? But it takes a crazy man to want to fight, you know what I mean, day in, day out. It's a hardcore sport, as you said, no silk shoes.
Ain't no other sight in the game to see the boxing boys.
Good morning. What up? What up? Hey, ladies and gents, thank you for joining me early in the morning, Sunday morning, spontaneous morning after show. You know, the morning after the big Joyce and Carlos Takam fight. We got some good news to talk about this morning. We could have attached it to our evening show today at 7 p.m. Eastern. Don't forget to check out Ringside Reporter at 6 p.m. before you check us out at 7 p.m. Check out my man Joe Habib and Eric Lorda over there putting it in. If you haven't already done so, go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube channel as we are trying to grow. And if you don't know, now you know. We're at 127,637 subscribers. Shout out to you, and actually the other two of you that just subscribed, because now we're at 127,639. Yes. Now listen. Truth be told, only the people in the chat know that I'm late. So the actual live listeners that are like tuning in this very moment, and the people that are listening around the world on playback, they wouldn't know that I was late. But I'll tell you, it's a podcast. It isn't just a boxing show, you know. We get personal and in-depth over here. So I'll tell you why I was late. I scheduled the show for 10:45, thinking I was going to start at that time, and then I received a phone call, you know what I mean? And you know how it is when you get those phone calls and it's business. You know what I mean? It's business, because you got to understand, we have a huge opportunity here. Huge opportunity. Shameless plug. Yes, a huge opportunity, because on August 14th, we will be streaming live to the YouTube channel, youtube.com/The Boxing Voice, where you will be able to see Lorenzo Truck Simpson and Darren the Gift Cunningham in a co-main event with Henry Martinez, who's trained by Ken Porter. Did I forget to say that Truck Simpson is trained by Calvin Ford, the same trainer of Gervonta Tank Davis, who is said to be in the building. And Darren the Gift Cunningham is promoted by DHP, Devin Haney Promotions. And you heard Bill last night. He is going to be in the building. ATL's own Quatavius Cash of the Contender is going to also fight on the card. Najee Lopez fight on the card. Amir Mason and Omari Jones. Don't forget, Shamar Canal is on this card. So, whoa, it is gonna be a fantastic card. And this is an opportunity for you as a small business or business in the DMV area, because these fighters, I mean, Lorenzo, he's from the DMV, right? He's trained by Calvin Ford. So that's the Baltimore, Maryland area. Darren Cunningham's been fighting and selling out in Atlanta for so long. So this is a fantastic opportunity for anyone that needs to get some eyeballs on their business, on their social media, on, whatever, whatever, your YouTube channel. This is an opportunity. I got to talk to my man Fred, man, from Barbershop Conversations. This is an opportunity for him to promote his movie to a crowd of 98% males and your audience. This is a fantastic opportunity. So if anyone is interested, please hit me up on DM, because this is the only way you're going to be able to watch these fights, and this video will live forever. The playback will be there. These fights are forever. If Chuck gets a Manny Pacquiao-like stoppage, it's right here that you can see it. But now back to our regularly scheduled program. And we're going to be talking the heavyweight division, as it was the only real news that took place yesterday, the only action. And because of that, we have some information for you. Joe Joyce's manager, Sam Jones, has said that they'd welcome a fight versus Luis Ortiz. Joe Joyce obviously stopped Carlos Takam in the 6th round, hurt him with the first punch. It was kind of like a left hook, and then put it on him until the referee jumped in. A lot of people weren't exactly happy with the stoppage, but the truth is that Joyce was just landing unanswered punches. I mean, you can't be Carlos Takam just taking shots and expect for the fight not to be stopped. Like, you have to throw back. And there was an occasion where he might have threw 1 or 2 punches, but it just wasn't enough. And it's an unfortunate situation because he was doing pretty well up until that time. He was giving Joe Joyce a pretty good fight. I think there's a bit of a blueprint now, even though Carlos is very awkward and has long arms. But that being said, fantastic fight. But Joyce is now, or does now get to move forward. And because of that, his manager is saying that they'd welcome a fight with Luis Ortiz, who I think is right for the taking. Luis Ortiz. Now, I don't know that Joyce will get the credit, because people love to put Luis Ortiz on this high pedestal. But I think that there may be some haters and naysayers that are going to call Luis Ortiz old when Joe Joyce beats him. But I will be picking Joe Joyce to beat Luis Ortiz. Now, I think it's a fantastic fight. And I'm only picking Joyce because I think he's like the liver guy, a little fresher, right? But I think that if Takam can land those shots, I think Luis can land those shots. Now, Takam was an orthodox fighter, so he had success with his hook. I mean, Luis would be in the southpaw position, and, he would be having to land a right hook. It may not work out that well, but Luis is high level fighter, tons of amateur fights, a great matchup. I really hope that, Sam Jones can get this done. He does have some sort of affiliation with Mayweather Promotions. Obviously, he was the one to bring Savannah Marshall to the U.S. and hook her up with Mayweather, and she had a contract with Mayweather until she got out of that and, started training with Peter Fury and, ended up with Matchroom. So, very good opportunity here for the boxing fans. And I think for Sam Jones and Sam Boxing, Joe Joyce, there's an opportunity to get all the hardcore fans on your side. Because a lot of hardcore fans, a lot of us, we like Luis Ortiz. There's going to be some haters. There's going to be some Wilder haters, right, that like to diminish Luis Ortiz because they don't want to give Wilder his credit. But the decent boxing fans, we like Luis Ortiz. We think he's a good fighter. We think he's a good fighter, and we like to see him in fights with the top, and we just want that to happen. That's just the bottom line. And if they can do that with Sam Jones and Joe Joyce, we will be happy. We won't diminish anything. I think that Joyce is very tall, very long, and it's going to cause Ortiz some issues. But again, at the same time, I think Ortiz is, I might get heat for this, but I don't know, right? Like light years ahead of Takam. I mean, again, and Takam had wild success yesterday. That was a great performance for Takam, but you know what? Poor performance on your part. How could there only be 31 thumbs up and 2 thumbs down? Like, geez Louise. What, because you don't like the matchup? You hitting the thumbs down button? Like, what is going on? I mean, you guys that really support this show, you can't allow these type of things to happen. You have to be hitting that thumbs up. Brandon, Will Lynch, Big Tom, Steve in Chicago, Steve in the UK. You got to hit the thumbs up. Don't let the haters win, man. We're trying to grow out here. You see, I'm working like 7 days a week, grinding nonstop. Hands in all sorts of cookie jars, trying to get TBV all the way to the top. We can't let these negative people bring us down, man. When you're waiting in the queue, hit that thumbs up button, man. It helps with the visibility of the show. It's going to let this episode get in the eyes of other boxing fans that can turn into potential listeners and or callers who can give their opinion by calling into the show right here at 1-425-569-5241. Press 1 time to voice your opinion right here on the Voice of the People hotline. Always been, always will be. We take the heat around here. We do not mind the harsh words. I'm opening up my back Skype for all my content creators who are available to jump in here and rock out with me. I got the phone lines litty for all of my callers and listeners around the world that want to get in on this particular matchup. Matchup Sundays, courtesy of Sam Jones. I reached out to Sam. Jones, and I was trying to get him on the show. I got to check my messages in case he answered, but last I checked, he didn't. Let me check my WhatsApp. Because yeah, man, I wanted to get him on here. Nope, he hasn't checked it, man. Let me be direct. I send him a voice message, and I'll provide him all the linkage. But once again, man, hit that thumbs up button, man. Don't let these negative people win. We must keep this show the #1 boxing podcast in the world, #1 on iTunes, more 5 stars reviews than any contemporary, and only you can keep us there by continuing to drop us a 5-star review, continuing to tell the world how consistent we are. We may not be the best, but we're definitely consistent amongst the rest, right? And we're here. You know, you may not like what we say, but we're here to debate what we say at the very least. And you can debate whatever's on your mind. Express your frustrations. What do you think about this matchup? Is this the perfect fight for Joyce? Is this an opportunity for Luis Ortiz to get back in the mix? I mean, think about what happens to the career of Luis Ortiz if he can get a win over Joyce. It's like a complete revision of his career. Like, he's revived all over again. He's back. You know, he's in title contention because, you know, Luis Ortiz, Joyce is already in the position for a title shot. Right? So, you know, if Ortiz can beat Joyce, then that really sets him up. It lines him up, man. But, you know, question is, will Sam Jones really take this fight? That's what we need to see, and that's why I was trying to get him on the show. But I'm going to send him the live link, and maybe if he sees what we're talking about, he'll jump on. Yes, sir. But we are talking Joyce. Not necessarily his win over Takam, but obviously to get here, we had to get through Takam. And now Sam Jones, his manager, is saying no problem to the Joyce Luis Ortiz fight. which I think is a great heavyweight fight that, should happen. Politics aside. And I don't know that there are any politics. I mean, BT, or rather should I say Frank Warren, who Joyce may be with, I'm pretty sure he signed to Warren when he got the Dubois fight. They do business with PBC. They've done the Wilder pay-per-view. They do business with Top Rank. So, that's not, I don't think this is a hard fight to make. And if you're Luis Ortiz, you're running out of options on PBC. I mean, I guess they can give you to Ruiz, and then it's a common opponent with Wilder. So I can see why Luis Ortiz may be valuable to PBC at this time. Maybe they're looking at it like, hell no, we cashing him out against Andy Ruiz. We're not giving him to you. That could be a possibility. Remember, they got Andy Ruiz over there and they got Wilder. They need to feed those two animals. But, Amilcar, what up?
What is going on, Nestor, my brother? Happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday, man.
My church is in session, the Church of Boxing.
Let's go.
Of course.
Amen.
So I saw the topic. It's very intriguing. Potential matchup. We would like to see Joyce in there against somebody of note, because it's going to be a minute before he's in there with Fury or Wilder or Joshua or AJ, because AJ doesn't touch a fight unless there's a mandatory rematch up in that contract. So if he beats Usyk, he's going to be hopefully taking on the winner of Wilder against Fury. That fight will probably have a mandatory rematch in it. And then if he loses to Usyk, well, he's going to get some get back against Usyk in a rematch. So rather than just have Joyce die on the vine, because he is up there in age, might as well start throwing some names out there to get him back in the ring pretty soon. No, Ness?
Yeah, I mean, how sure, or whether not sure, but what's the probability of this fight happening? You think this is just good PR on Sam Jones's part? Obviously, Luis Ortiz, hate him or love him, we want to see him in the ring. He produces decent fights on the high level. Or am I lying? Is he a snooze fest?
I've never had an issue with Luis Ortiz. He did obviously have that alleged PED use, but I felt like the justification for his use of that drug was pretty, I would say, believable.
Wow. Blood pressure? You talking about the blood pressure excuse?
Yeah, I mean, he's got high blood pressure. For those of you who are of African descent, like me and my brother Ness, you do know that, it does kind of run high sometimes in our families. I have that particular issue in my family. I don't have it yet, touch wood, but a lot of people do. If you're of a Caribbean background, African-American background, it's pretty common for high blood pressure to run in your family. Not necessarily this young, in your late 30s or early 40s, but I'm not going to say it's not somewhat believable that the brother has high
blood pressure.
Blood pressure, and like Caribbean food's pretty salty. Pretty
I
hot.
wouldn't call it salty. I would call it full of flavor.
Full of flavor. There you go. So, he's got to watch that. You got to watch those seasonings, because those seasonings are high in salt typically. You got to eat clean. Maybe go to a plant-based diet like myself. I could help him out with that if he's interested. But I'm also not one of these people that subscribes to the whole Luis Ortiz is like 50-year-old nonsense.
Yeah, me neither. Never did.
Personally, I'm just going to keep it real. Like, you had a guy call in and say that I'm always trying to make stuff racial. Well, I'm not usually. And I find that funny from someone who just flippantly uses the N-word against my people regularly. But I digress. I mean, pretty much what you're saying when you're talking about Luis Ortiz not being 42, and to me, he looks like a 42-year-old black man. Like, there are plenty of 42-year-old brothers I see around the neighborhood that look around kind of like Luis Ortiz does. But what you're essentially saying is that, you know, these Caribbean countries, you know, they don't really know how to record keep. Like, you can't really believe a birth certificate from Cuba or a passport from Cuba, and I'm just not gonna subscribe to that. I'm sorry.
Well. I mean, that's pretty common. You know, they defect, so it's like, you know, you get to tell America whatever the hell you want. Like, you don't defect with papers and proof.
I do get that, but at the same time, he was an amateur. You know what I mean? He was entering into
for a country that loves gold medals and loves to be dominant. So yeah, I mean, come on, bro. You ain't play Little League Baseball and see some fucking big ass kids. You know how these coaches are. People want to win. Life is about winning. And some people, as you can see in our own sport, some people do anything to win. Some use PEDs to win. You know what I mean?
I agree with what you're saying, but what country cheats more than the United States?
Russia.
No.
What?
No. The United States. I mean, do you not remember Lance Armstrong and the USPS cycling team?
I mean, but that's one guy. That's one guy when you're talking about a team.
What about Marion Jones?
Again, what you're talking individuals.
Example. What about Major League Baseball?
I hear you, but you're still listen to me. You're still
come on, bro.
Listen, you're still giving individual examples. Like, no one tops Russia. Their team pop. That means the government is on board. The coaches are on board. Like, we need you to beat. We need our country to look dominant. Everybody jump on this shit. Come on, bro.
Look, I concede. You know, obviously Jose Canseco and Mark McGwire were Russians. So, you know.
Again, individuals.
You got me on that one. You got me on that one, bro.
This guy.
Look, in all seriousness, I understand what you're saying. You're saying there's a difference between kind of state-sponsored cheating and the individual cheating that kind of takes place. I'll repeat what I said because you took your headphones off.
Yeah.
You're saying that there's a difference between kind of state-sponsored cheating, as alleged to have taken place in Russia, and the individual cheating in the United States. But you also got to remember that sports in the United States is set up as a do or die, everyone's out for themselves, individual endeavor. You don't have amateur athletes, you know, pretty much, you know, where it's their full-time job to represent the United States in sports, you know, so it's a little bit different. But all I'm saying is that the United States ain't, you know, allergic to cheating. Like, there's a lot of cheating in the United States, you know, and that goes into sports, it goes into politics, it goes into corporate America. You know, it goes into what I do. Like, I got my little public school teacher shirt on today, and, you know, recently in the news here in New York, you know, there was principals accused of like what was it, like doctoring like state test results and stuff, and like losing their jobs and shit over it. So cheating is cheating, bro. All I'm saying is that to me, Luis Ortiz looks like a 42-year-old. He don't really look that much older than that. But if I'm wrong, I'm wrong.
Nah, I mean, look, if we're going off looks, I don't think he looks as old as people make him out to be. I've been in the gym with him. I've stood next to him. I've watched him work. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think he looks or moves or acts his age, or rather the age that he's perceived to be. But that's the thing. Like, will your boy Joe Joyce get credit, or will, you know, the same people that diminish Luis Ortiz now and say, who has he beat? And he's only lost to Wilder. You know, will they give Joe Joyce the credit?
I think that reasonable, objective observers of the sport will give him credit if he puts on a emphatic performance, like where he's utterly dominant of them. Because other than Wilder, and let's be honest, Wilder wasn't really dominant until he got the KO. I mean, both times they were dominating KOs, but the overall performance from beginning to end wasn't necessarily dominating, I would say. So if you could come out as Joe Joyce and just get that hammer fist jab going, Juggernaut style, you know, Marvel supervillain style, and just walk him down and eat punches like he usually does, and then just you kind of overwhelm Luis Ortiz and get the KO, I think that he should get some credit for that. You know, I think he should get as much credit as anyone could get for beating Luis Ortiz at this stage. There are other people I think that would be more natural opponents for him. I think Dillian White would be a great opponent because, to me, the third place slot amongst British heavyweights is like disputable, you know? And I think that would be a great opportunity to be next man up, you know?
Yeah, I would love this fight. I would really love this fight. But what about my theory that Al won't do it? Because he'll just advise Luis, like, yeah, you can fight Joe Joyce, but I'm trying to set you up with Andy Ruiz. Because they would rather cash out a common opponent with Wilder to their first Mexican former heavyweight champion that was, you know, unified, so they can further build that Wilder-Ruiz fight. Because if Wilder and Ruiz fight without a title, we'll watch it the way we watched Joe Joyce and Takam. So, you know, why not cash him out to Ortiz? Excuse me, Ruiz Ortiz. That's something that's been rumored for a while now.
Ruiz makes sense. The thing with, you guys will probably remember that he was actually signed to Matchroom before and was just kind of shelved, and people thought that they just acquired him and shelved him to keep him away from AJ. I don't know if that's true or not. I'll never know if that's true or not. But Luis Ortiz has not really been that active and really gotten a lot of shots other than the Wilder fights, which were good shots that he didn't capitalize on. So if you're him, you got to think of, do I stick with PBC and hope that they put me in as the B side, because that's what it would be, against, you know, maybe a Ruiz, or even maybe a Kaunaki if he gets past Hellenius? Or do you try to test the waters over there with Queensbury and, you know, see what it do against Joe Joyce? I
think you're using the wrong words when interpreting or assuming what Ortiz would do. I don't think he would use the word maybe. I think he would say to himself, damn, do I take the Joe Joyce fight, or do I sit and wait for Al to give me, you know, Ruiz or someone? Because I think he's sure that he's going to get something from them. No one's been able to move Luis Ortiz like Al Heyman. Remember, he was a fighter that was disgruntled with Golden Boy, tested positive in the Latif Coyote fight with Golden Boy, and then was cast away. Came back, got fights with Al. Then Matchroom signed him for a 3-fight deal to keep him away from Anthony Joshua. He popped again, claimed blood pressure. Who took him back with open arms? Al again. Rebuilt him, gave him the tune-ups he needed, plus the fight with Wilder, then blessed him yet again when he turned down the $7 million offer on 5 weeks' notice to Anthony Joshua with a pay-per-view. I don't think his words are maybe. I think he knows he gonna get Ruiz if that's what's on the table, or like you said, Kornacki, Hellenius rematch. I think he knows also what he gets paid regardless. You know, like he knows if it's a Hellenius Kornacki, what he should get, and he knows if it's a Ruiz Wilder, he'll be getting more or possibly on pay-per-view. I think Joyce and his team have to really shake a tree to get that fight, because, I mean, Luis Ortiz, I mean, again, I keep telling you guys, like, why would Jamal Charlo not listen to Al? Like, how old is he? 30, and he's a millionaire multi set for life. Like, why wouldn't you listen?
I would do that. I'm just laughing at something that one of your moderators said in the chat.
What they saying?
something about me having kids, black kids, dress up as slaves during Black History Month.
That's Bo and Bama. Yeah, he's been going hard on you with the. I guess he's one of those guys that you said.
I'm the type of teacher I am. I'm the type of teacher that when kids are wearing Hamilton t-shirts around my school, I'm telling them that this dude that you're wearing a t-shirt of and that Lin-Manuel Miranda with his stupid In Your Heights little movie that's out right now with no black people in it. I'm telling these kids wearing Hamilton t-shirts that this man Hamilton was killing off indigenous people and enslaving Africans. I don't know what the hell he's talking about, but I digress. I guess if you have anything bad to say about Deontay Wilder, you're no longer a black man.
Nah. He's definitely not. He's definitely not coming at you for Wilder. He's one of the people you talked about earlier when you said that people think you bring up race, so that's why he said that. I know that he's already, like, I've been seeing his comments. I seen that one.
I was talking about somebody else with that one. I was talking about somebody else whose use of the N-word is way too.
Yeah, I know that was Georgia you were talking about. Believe me, man, my ears all the way on the street. I know exactly who you're talking about. But I'm talking about the last comment you mentioned about the kids in class. I've been read that. That was Bo and Bama, which I can assure you doesn't disagree.
Who's race baiting? When have I ever race baited? I mean, I have said that I think Top Rank is a racist promoter, the way they promote fights.
So remember, you're on a podcast, even though it's a video. So you have to let the audience that will listen in the future know that you're addressing someone in the comments by saying who's a race baiter, right? Someone just said that to you?
Yeah, the same guy, you're one of your moderators with the wrench, Bama Bo, says that he doesn't race. I don't think I've ever race baited, but I mean, maybe we have a different definition of race baiting. If I see people using a race and I speak about it, like, I don't really think that's race baiting. Or if I see a promoter like Top Rank that only seems capable of promoting people in a cookie cutter approach that appeals to some kind of patriotic nationalism, and I call that out because it harms fighters like Rigando who don't fit into that cookie cutter approach. Yeah, I mean, that's the facts, but whatever. I mean, don't bring up my kids and bring up slavery and this other stuff, because I think that's more race baiting, to be honest, but it is what it is.
Yeah, man, you gotta learn. Sometimes you can't feed into everyone in the chat, even fucking headphones, even a moderator, because there is a viewing public and listening public, right? That they don't even know. We are privy to the chat, so sometimes I ignore some of the stuff that will take the show in a different direction.
Right. Okay. Let's get back to
we got Will Lynch. Yeah. Let me get this super chat from Will Lynch. I remember when I thought Will Lynch was fake because of that name, right? But it's not. He says, if I'm not mistaken, wasn't Wilder the last rated guy that Ortiz fought? If Ortiz fights anyone who can get him a payday like Joyce, I think that's a good thing. I mean, I like the Joyce fight. I just don't know that Heyman is going to let Joyce retire Luis Ortiz rather than let Ortiz attempt to try that, right?
Look, I agree. And I agree with something you said earlier before I jumped on, which is that if you look at Luis Ortiz's career, now is the time to kind of jump on it.
Absolutely.
Because let's be honest, he's destroyed guys that he's supposed to destroy, but he's also gone the distance with guys like Christian Hammer, and that was pretty recently.
I mean, to play devil's advocate there, Maestro, you know that the only person to make Christian Hammer quit, because no one's ever stopped him, but the only person to make him quit is Tyson Fury.
Yeah, I agree, but he also went the distance with Malik Scott. I'm just saying that.
No, but that's what I'm saying. You can't what I'm trying to say is you can't discredit Lewis for going 12 with Christian.
I'm not dissing. I'm saying though that Christian Hammer is a known tough guy. And I think it's safe to say that Joe Joyce is also a known tough guy in terms of his ability to take shots. We were both calling that and seeing that yesterday on your live, right? So, I'm saying that pretty much I don't think there's a risk of Joe Joyce getting knocked out necessarily by Luis Ortiz the way that, a Travis Kaufman or a Razman Kajonu or an Alexander Flores got knocked out, because he takes care of guys like that, as he should. But, when he gets up there of the level above that with a Christian Hammer or a Malik Scott, like, fights can go to distance. So I don't think there's any reason, is what I'm saying. I'm getting long-winded here, as I do sometimes, but that there's a reason for Joe Joyce to avoid this fight in any way is what I'm trying to say, or his team.
Yeah, I think they need to. I mean, the best way to get it done is make an offer, though. They got to make an offer, because they're probably going to need Ortiz to go over there. Then they won't be able to do this in America. So they have to make an offer. They can't expect Lewis to reach out, which he may. He has, in the past. His team has reached out across the pond when there were opportunities. They definitely were conversating with Team AJ, and that's why they received that $7 million offer. They eventually didn't take it, though. So that's that alliance, man, that loyalty that Heyman has with these guys. And, I don't know that it bothers me, because it's like, if you can guide me to the millions, bro, why wouldn't I keep listening? You know what I mean? That's how I look at it. Like, fuck dollars. If you could tell me right now, like, yo, they call me Maestro because I could get you to 1 million subs. What? Let's do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that's how I look at it, man. And then if you prove that, and you like, yo, I'm gonna get you now to 1.2, and then 1 point, it's like, yo, I got to keep listening. So it's unfortunate for us as boxing fans, but again, I don't mind neither fight. If you give me Joe Joyce, Luis Ortiz, or Al says no, and he gives us Ruiz Ortiz, I'm still a very happy boxing fan. I might, and I know I'm gonna fall into my bubble bias for those that think I am, but I might enjoy Ruiz versus Ortiz more. I think both of them bring this. I'm sorry to be long-winded. I think both Ruiz and Joyce bring the same thing, which is more activity than Luis Ortiz. So they're going to make the fight in that fight with Ortiz.
I think that there are a number of scenarios that are win-win scenarios for a bunch of different people. In kind of the combinations of these fights. You're talking about that level just below, where the elite is right now. I think it's safe to say, whether or not you like or dislike Joshua, Fury, or Wilder, that right now that's the elite of the heavyweight division. It's unclear whether Usyk is in that particular mix, but he's getting a fight with that mix. Just below that, we've got Dillian White, Joe Joyce, Luis Ortiz, Andy Ruiz. And I think that any combination of those guys fighting each other is going to be an entertaining fight. And yeah, it's you can't really complain if any of those guys fight one another,
What's the fight? Well, I don't even want to be negative, man. And anyway, we got Kovnacki and Helenia's rematch, so I won't even interject them into the equation and say that, one of those guys will get Ruiz or Ortiz, because both of those guys, one would be losing and the other would be just coming off a fight. We would have to wait too long. So, the obvious fight is Ruiz, who his trainer, Eddie Reynoso, announced is back in September, which is creeping. It's creeping. It's right there. We're 55 days away from September 18th, which is the alleged Canelo date. So we need some announcements pretty soon. But Big Gucci Nick, let me know via message or something. Unmute if you want to talk. If not, seems like we got no callers. Sunday, everybody at church or at the beach. That's where my girl wants to go, but I want to work.
It's not a nice day out here in New York City, and I pulled
rain or gloomy.
Just kind of, I'll show you, bro. That's kind of what it looks like. You know what that is, right?
I do not.
That's Yankee Stadium, fam.
Oh my God, you live that close to Yankee Stadium, dude?
Yeah.
Oh man, I hope you don't have a car. You must not be able to move that thing.
That's why I ride bikes and take the subway. And then,
oh man, that's why you look so healthy.
I pedal around too on a bicycle. You know what I mean? But no, it's gloomy and humid. Not really a day to really go out and do anything. Okay. We got a little community pool out here in the park nearby. I go there sometimes, but now's not a day for it. So here I am with the boxing voice, man.
Yeah, man. And Will Lynch coming right back at us with a $5 super chat saying, Dazn is the only real payday for heavyweight. I know money isn't everything, but I wouldn't turn down millions to fight Joshua. Yeah, I mean, the thing is that we don't know how much he was given and then what split of the pay-per-views. It did do 275. You know, and we can't even divide those numbers. We can't even, I mean, obviously we can tell you 275, I think it's like, what? Let me just do it. The issue is we don't know what's Wilder's mandatory. We didn't know what he got paid officially. But 275,000 ain't bad if you were Tank Davis. You understand? Because you ain't getting over $5 million. But, you know, 80 times 275 is 22 mil. You divide that by the 2. So they made 11 million on that fight. I don't know. Obviously, they ain't give Lewis his 7 that AJ was offering. You know? So I don't know. I don't know what. I mean, there's also sponsorships, endorsements, ticket sales, concessions, all that greatness that factor in to the overall revenue of a fight, but I don't know, man. You're right. 7 million is a hard pill to swallow if you don't take that money. But man, catch me right here at 7 p.m. Eastern. But don't forget Ringside Reporter, Joe Habib, Eric Lauder. They go on at 6 p.m. Eastern on youtube.com/The Ringside Reporter. Right after they're done at 7, we are live at 7 for our Sunday show where we review everything over the weekend, any sexy headlines, and we serve up that crow for anybody that might have picked Carlos Takam. Maestro, I got a caller, but you're free to join us at 7 if you want. Let me get to this caller before you give out your
let's get to the caller, bro.
Info. Aaron, what up?
What up, Naz? What up, Maestro?
You coming from Maestro again? You coming from Maestro again? He makes you call in, huh?
Nah, I came at him. Every time he gets in, he makes me call in, but I'm not going to come at him. I came at him a couple of days ago, and it's good. He has an opinion, and that's what it is. But, yeah, I think this is a great fight. I still don't know how Joyce is the second mandatory. I mean, the man has 13 fights on his resume. There's no reason why he would be the mandatory. And ESPN wrote an article saying that maybe AJ would have to drop the WBO belt if he beats Usyk, if he wants to go in a fight with Wilder or Fury. So I know it's at least a year that the WBO mandatory would have to be fulfilled after AJ beats Usyk. But bottom line is, if AJ beats Usyk, we want to see the undisputed against Fury or Wilder. That means Joyce has no one to fight. Ortiz has no one to fight. I think they just fight. It's a good fight. And I think Ortiz goes to the UK and takes that fight. And I think it's a win-win for both fighters.
Joyce could fight.
And we see what happens afterwards.
Joyce could fight Dillian White.
I don't see White taking that, though. They already said White's coming to America to fight a couple other.
Eliminator. That was a WBC eliminator. And it was for the WBO Intercontinental or some weird shit.
Yeah, he was rocking that.
Do you think Hearn? Do you think Hearn?
Yeah, but it's not about Hearn. What if the WBC orders the fight with Dillian? Dillian Matchroom can't negotiate with Frank Warren, who Joyce is with. It's purse bid time, Daddy. Purse bid. Time to go. You know?
Yeah, I mean it's possible. I wouldn't be mad at it. It's possible. I mean, again, I think the UK. It's two leagues. You know, the UK has kept away from Ortiz. I mean, look. I mean, they're talking about Parker Chisora too. I mean, what? I could see Parker Joyce. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. I mean, that's in the. But I'm saying I would see Parker Joyce. I would see White against Joyce. But I would rather see Parker against Ortiz or Joyce against Ortiz too. I mean, we got to get these fighters to fight.
We didn't even get Chisora Joyce. Let's do Chisora Joyce. I mean, I'm sure Chisora is probably a little bit more confident now that he's seen Takam landing on them damn shots.
Chisora's done. I mean, he's done. I don't know how to call him the gatekeeper because everyone keeps on coming through the gate. So look, I mean, maybe Chisora, but come on, I would rather see Parker or White or Ortiz would be against Joyce. And I think those would be good fights. So whatever happens, happens. Either way, I'm happy. But that's my call.
All right.
Great call, brother.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. If you want to call in, you know the number to do so, 14255695241. Press 1 one time. Voice your opinion right here on the Voice of the People hotline. Don't forget, you could also add Nestor Gibbs on Skype. We got another super chat here from Texas. Made the realest. He says, how do you like Coffee versus Washington? I got Coffee by KO. Me too, man. Coffee is my guy. So, yeah, man. There's just no time to go see him. I mean, he's probably already in Jersey. It's the 25th. That fight is this Saturday.
I've got a question for you, Ness.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of U.S. heavyweights, I mean, there's a guy that has the same title as Tank Davis. He's a WBA champion. I'm talking about Trevor Bryant. Mm-hmm. Where does he fit in the mix?
I mean, he's not in the mix, man. Unfortunately, with Trevor, he's with Don King, man. He just had that fight with Bermain Stavern off TV, and that, I mean, when was the last time that he fought before that? You know what I mean? And that was some weird. I mean, I don't know if you followed the headline.
The build up to it with Emmanuel Char and how he got put in recess and the big thing going back and forth. Shout out to Boxing Squared. He did a great breakdown of that one.
Look at that. It had been 3 years since Bryant had fought, and he's been the regular champ for that long. Mind you, somehow he was the regular champ all that time, but the fight with Stavern was for the vacant belt that he allegedly already. Like, yo,
I don't think he was the regular. I think he was the interim, and we're getting into the weeds here with the way the WBA operates. Yeah. But he was the interim. Manuel Char was the regular, and he was supposed to fight him.
That's right. They stripped Char.
Char and put him in the recess, kind of like they did with Pac-Man. And but my question is like, look, regardless of what, these little trinkets are valuable to fighters.
He's not in the mix though, Maestro. Like, if you look. Before Bermain, he fought a cruiserweight in BJ Flores, and before that, he had like a fight in DR, and 2 fights with 2 dudes who had only 2 wins. Like, he's Christopher Lovejoy territory. Like, he's not real. You know what I'm saying?
Saying this. I'm not trying to cap here and say that he's like a legit heavyweight champion or contender. What I'm asking.
Now we got better American heavyweights, man. We got Dakari.
Jared Big Baby Anderson.
Yeah, but he's already hot. You know what I'm saying? We got Dakari, Mack Truck Scott. We got Derek Starlin. We got Mike Coffey. Like you said, Jared Anderson. Brian got a show.
What I'm asking us is whether or not that title that he holds is something that a UK fighter.
Yeah, Dillian White. Dillian White wants that. He already mentioned his name. He wants that.
Would want to fight for in the United States, and you could throw Joyce into that combo too.
Listen,
you could throw Daniel Dubois in there because he's supposed to fight Daniel Dubois.
The truth is, Dillian White beats Trevor Bryant. He makes that belt more popular. Right now, absolutely no one cared about that belt when Manuel Char had it. No one cares about it when Trevor Bryant has it. Because we all recognize AJ as the universal super champion. We don't care who's under him. But if Dillian White gets it, his personality, he will make that belt significant. Matchroom is behind him. Sky Sports used to be behind him. Now it's going to be DAZN UK. They'll be behind them in terms of pay-per-views, or rather, should I say, UK subscriptions. I think they can, make a UK pay-per-view with Dillian White's coming to America versus Bryan and sell it back home, and then he becomes the WBA champion, and he's like, I'm mandatory to Wilder and Fury, I'm mandatory to AJ. I mean, he's got the personality, he knows how to drive the machine, so he's the right person to take that belt and make it believable and real.
Yeah, and the other UK fighter lined up for that
Joyce
title.
Can do that.
No, I'm just saying Daniel Dubois is lined up for it because he's the interim in the WBA.
He can't do it either. It has to be a Dillian Whyte sort of personality, someone that's outspoken. Keith Thurman, like Sean Porter, and Sean Porter, he's getting there. He got the podcast, but Keith Thurman, like Dillian Whyte, like Deontay Wilder, Tyson. Those are the polarizing figures that can take, regular belt.
So like a Rolly Romero type, a guy who's carrying that title and is making waves for himself with his mouth.
Yes. You see people want to see him lose. Exactly. That's the type of dude that you need with that belt. But looks like we got, from my mental Rolodex, that must be Jonathan in Ohio. What up?
No, this Rod, North Carolina.
Oh shit, Rob, my bad. What's going on? Fucked up.
What's going on?
Chilling.
That's all right. I don't really like that fight for Ortiz. I would rather see Ortiz, like you say. I'd rather see him wait on that Andy Ruiz fight.
Wait?
If it's in the making.
If it's there, but not wait, man. He getting old to be waiting.
Yeah, but I mean, to me, what does that prove? He beats George Joyce. Where does that position him for a title?
It puts him in perfect position.
By his age,
WBO right behind.
He's in line to fight for the WBO, and then he's also in line to be the mandatory. That was for an eliminator yesterday, so he's the second mandatory for the WBC title. He's already in line. So Luis Ortiz, who's not in line, can get in line by beating a Joe Joyce.
Okay, that makes sense then. Because I was thinking, for Ortiz, he only needs to take fights that's going to really put him right there at the title contention, because I don't want him taking any steps back, because I think he don't have many years left. So everything he does has to be clearly focused on winning the title. Fights that he gets in has to be clearly for him to get to the title.
I agree, 100%. You're absolutely right about that. I mean, you're 42 years old at this point. If you're still in the game, you should be trying to get a title, at least a title shot, and then get up out of the game.
That's crazy. That's the only 42-year-old we know that we consider this dangerous. Like any other 42-year-old, we'd be like, man, he 42, man. He might get old tonight. Like, nobody's saying that about Ortiz. Hilarious.
All right, I'm enjoying the show, man.
Appreciate you, brother.
Thank you. What was?
All right, one more thing.
Rod in North Carolina.
Again,
yeah, one more quick thing. I listened to your show, Nish. I've been listening for a long time. I don't know how long you got me on how long it says I've been on your call list, but I've been calling on the show and listening to the show for a long time. And I like your brother's perspective that's on with you now. Some things I agree with what he's saying, some things I don't. But I would like for the community, especially African American men, let's not criticize too deeply. You know what I'm saying? And where you get personal with the other, your other black man. You know what I'm saying? I don't like when other black callers do that. If I don't agree with you, I can agree to disagree, but I'm not going to crucify you because you don't have the same viewpoint as I do. And that's just my little 2 cents on that. I don't want to get off topic, but I enjoy both perspectives. Thank you.
I appreciate that, fam. Thank you to you.
Thank you, Rod in North Carolina. We got a super chat. Count Drago, $2. White versus Ortiz, both ranked in the WBC. It sells. Yeah, but see, that's the thing. They might do White versus Joyce because Joyce just fought a final, not a final, but he fought a WBC eliminator. And that's the thing. They could also do Ortiz-Joyce for a final eliminator to be the second mandatory, the way that Devin had 2 mandatories in Ryan and Javier Fortuna. So a lot can happen. We got Mr. PBC in Seattle, Washington. Got all quiet?
Mr. PBC, baby.
BoxingVoice.com. I'm the flyest. Canelo talking about he believes he can win. Go to my kitchen. Get the sharpest knife and cut the bullshit out. I don't care what you do good. I do every fucking thing great.
Mr. PBC, baby. Yo, what it do?
What up?
It's a beautiful name. It's a beautiful day in the PBC neighborhood, man. Everything's looking good. The hood's looking good. The check's looking good. Devin Haney needs to come over here. Bud's already over here. Canelo's over here for one fight though, but he might stay. You know, we got some good horchata and some tacos. But I like this Luis Ortiz versus Joyce talk. I've been liked it when it was supposed to happen. Actually, it was supposed to happen back in the day, I think. I like this mix up with the lower heavyweight division, the B class fighters. Dylan White, Andy, Luis Ortiz, and Joyce. Let's go. 2021 PBC. That's my call.
One thing I will say about the PBC that I've always liked about them is that they do give these Black Cuban brothers opportunities and shots in a way that I have not really been seeing it for them with guys like, especially Top Rank. I mean, Rigo was, you know, what they did to him at Top Rank was promotional malpractice. And Ugas has gotten great opportunities with the PBC. And he said as much, thanking Al Heyman for the fact that he's made a good living for himself. And Luis Ortiz has had a couple good shots too. So you got to give up you got to give it up to the PBC for giving my brothers from the Caribbean these good opportunities.
Absolutely, man. They've definitely. That's what I'm saying with Luis. Is like, do you really say, nah, Al, I want this Joyce fight? When he like, yo, I got a plan for you, and that's what I'm saying. It's hard. It's hard. Like, I always put myself in that predicament. In their shoes, I'm coming from the inner city. It's gonna be hard for me to tell someone that made me a multi-millionaire, no. I'm gonna feel, bro, I got a mentor right now, and I just be like feeling like, man, I'm not doing enough because the mentorship is invaluable. You understand? So imagine you making me a millionaire. I'm gonna feel in debt to you. And that's probably what is going on. You know what I'm saying? Ken Stone, Super Chat, 199 says, shout out Team USA, 2-0 so far. Keyshawn looking slick.
Yeah, I saw his fight. I DVR'd it. And yeah, the Olympic tournament's pretty good. And for those of you that don't know, they even have professionals fighting in it. And it's no headgear. So
yeah, Keyshawn's a professional.
Yep.
Yep. But that is everybody. Nest GTO, Instagram and Twitter. Don't forget to catch us at 7 p.m. Eastern time for our normal flagship Sunday edition. Maestro, let them know where they can find you. And thank you once again for coming on.
No, absolutely. Well, you know, as much as I can, you'll be able to find me here with my brother Ness on the Boxing Voice. And I go live on my channel with my brother Kenny T from here in New York City every Monday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific on my channel. The show's called Mano a Mano. We do it live. We take callers, and we get into the nitty-gritty of the sport of boxing. So check me out, Maestro A Boxing. That's my YouTube channel. It's youtube.com/Maestro A Boxing. You know, I just started putting up content in March, little bit at a time. You know, I used to be on another channel before. Now I'm doing my own thing. I'm growing steadily thanks to support from guys like Ness, G Funky, D Style Boxing, my man D from Speak Your Mind Sports Talk, my brother H Money, Ring IQ, many others. So I'm going to keep at it, and come and join us on my channel if you can. Subscribe, hit the like button, share, all that good stuff. Want to wish everyone out there, everyone in the chat, all of the members of the Boxing Voice family a great and happy Sunday. Make sure you check out Ringside Reporter, 6 p.m. Eastern tonight. Make sure you're back here on this channel, 7 p.m. Eastern, for more great analysis and boxing talk from my brother Nestor.
Yeah, man, I might have Bo from 3kingsboxing.com on. Hopefully he's available. And yeah, we'll catch you at 7 p.m. Peace.